With powerful jaws, lethal venom, and the skill to lurk in the shadows, waiting for the right minute to strike, no other reptile comes close to the snake, especially the big ones. From a huge python going on a deer hunt to an anaconda taking on a full-size cow, here are 12 insane animal battles involving big snakes. Number 12. Helpless monkeys watch python attack. Monkeys are some of the smartest animals in the wild. With their high intelligence, they're able to spot threats from miles away and take all the necessary precautions to defend themselves against deadly animals. But in this heartbreaking moment, even dozens of monkeys are rendered helpless against a wild python that's strangling one of their family members with full force. The giant snake has its strong body wrapped around the monkey, and every single time the other animals try to protect their friend, the python lunges at them, scaring most of them off. Slowly, the poor monkey was crushed to death by the 10-foot-long reptile. Number 11. Leopard fights back against python. Leopards and pythons are some of the deadliest predators out in the wild. But when these two dangerous animals decide to go up against each other, things can get pretty dangerous. In a full-blown survival of the fittest battle, this leopard and African rock python are lunging at each other. For a brief moment, it looks like the giant snake has managed to overpower the wildcat as it starts to suffocate it. But miraculously, the leopard manages to free itself, biting and clawing at the python in retaliation. Surprisingly enough, the leopard managed to defeat the python after puncturing its body with its sharp claws. And while the leopard also sustained some injuries, including a bad limp, the wildcat ultimately emerges as the victor in this battle. Number 10. Python, honey badger, and jackal fight it out. While pythons are generally not venomous, they have a grip that's enough to suffocate even the biggest of animals. So when this python wraps itself around a small honey badger, the poor animal stands no chance. The honey badger can take on much larger animals such as lions or hyenas, but it's no match for a deadly python. However, this one manages to escape just in the nick of time before the snake has a chance to suffocate it. As soon as the mammal frees itself from the python, a pair of jackals arrive on the scene and decide to join in on the fun. In fact, it's because of them that the python suddenly lets go of the honey badger to protect itself from the threat on the other side. But of course, the reflex is of no use. The three animals then kill the snake and play around with it for a bit before feeding on it. Number 9. Python attacks alligator. Burmese pythons are some of the most dangerous predators when it comes to snakes. But once an adult alligator decides to go up against them, even the deadliest of pythons are no match for them. This right here is an alligator that's just not in the mood to be messed with. Which is why when a python starts circling around it, the alligator doesn't wait before lunging at the reptile, preventing it from launching a sneak attack. Within seconds, the two reptiles start struggling against each other, with the python coiling itself around the gator's body to try and suffocate it. The alligator, however, puts up a strong fight and uses its jaws to trap the snake, preventing it from moving anymore. But what's really surprising is that after a long battle, both the reptiles decide to let each other go and move away. Number 8. Anaconda goes after cow. The deadly anaconda can take down even the strongest of animals with its strong grip and poisonous venom. This reptile right here uses all its strength to sneak up on a cow and attack it with its powerful jaws. And once the snake has a good grip, it then starts dragging the cow back in an attempt to prey on it. The poor cow has no idea what's happening until it sees the snake. With no effort at all, the giant anaconda is able to drag the cow all the way back, not even letting the poor animal fight back for a second. The cow does try to escape, but the snake has such a tight grip on it that the poor mammal clearly doesn't stand a chance here. Number 7. Python traps deer. Pythons can grow up to a size of around 6 meters and become strong enough to crush even the largest of animals within minutes. While drinking water from a stream along with his pack, this deer was taken by surprise when all of a sudden a giant python leapt out of the water and grabbed it with a swift move, wrapping its strong body around the deer. The poor deer was quickly abandoned by its pack, all of whom ran to save themselves from the reptile's wrath. The deer then had no chance to escape and was ultimately killed and eaten by the big snake. Number 6. Brave peacock defends itself. What most people don't know is that peacocks don't like snakes at all, to the point where if they see a snake approaching their territory, the birds will do all they can to defend themselves and keep the danger out. But this snake somehow manages to cross over the threshold into the peacocks, sending them into total defense mode. As a result, the peacocks lunge at the snake, trying to injure it with their pointed beaks. And while the snake puts up a fight, it seems like one of the peacocks manages to get a good strike, knocking the reptile out. Number 5. Mongoose scares cobra away. Because of their tiny size, mongooses are often regarded as tame and weak animals. But for all they lack in terms of physical strength, they make up for with their intelligence. This little mongoose right here finds itself face to face with a giant king cobra. In most cases, this would be it for an animal that's much smaller than the reptile. But this brave little mongoose used its strong reflexes to defend itself every time the snake tried to bite it. Not just that, but the mongoose also slowly lured the snake out into the open, so it's not cornered anymore and has more space to run. The brave mongoose finally tired the cobra out, and the snake quickly turned around and slithered away in the opposite direction, leaving the mongoose free to see another day. Number 4. Mongoose tries to escape. While mongooses might be timid, when they need to protect themselves, they can take on all kinds of predators, especially snakes. With a reputation for being able to fight and kill venomous snakes, the mongoose is one of the most fearless animals out in the wild. This little mongoose right here displays that very fearless, even when it knows that a snake has wrapped itself around its body. In an attempt to kill the mongoose, the snake is tightly coiled around the animal's body, attempting to constrict its breathing. But it's pretty obvious that the mongoose is doing just fine as it drags the snake into the depths of the forest to attack back. Number 3. 2 reptiles go head to head. When 2 reptiles go up against each other, the battle is bound to be deadly, which is exactly what happens when this black mamba and chameleon come face to face with each other, neither one of the two willing to back down. Both the reptiles lunge at each other to try and find an opening where they can strike the other, but considering how defensive both the animals are, the back and forth goes on for a while. The chameleon puts up a strong fight, but ultimately, the deadly mamba manages to deliver a fatal strike, injecting its venom into the opponent. As a result, the chameleon is stunned for a few seconds, giving the snake the perfect chance to sink its fangs into the smaller reptile, gobbling it up in a second. Number 2. Deadly reptiles attack each other. The python and the king cobra are 2 of the world's largest and most dangerous reptiles of all time, and with their aggressive natures, it's not surprising that these 2 animals are often found battling each other as a show of power. Which is exactly what's happening right here between the long python and the camouflage cobra. The 2 snakes wrap their bodies around each other to try and suffocate the opponent, but at the same time, neither of the 2 give in. Both the animals have their jaws gripped on the other, But while the king cobra kept its grip on the python kept giving up because nothing it was doing was affecting the large cobra. In the end, the cobra decides to leave the poor python alone, but at this point, it's injected so much venom in it that the poor snake doesn't stand a chance. Number 1. Eagle corners deadly snake. Eagles and snakes are some of the deadliest predators out in the wild, with razor-sharp senses and the ability to take down all kinds of animals. The terror that these two species strike is like no other. But what happens when they come face to face with each other? This eagle and snake right here struggle against each other for a long time, and while the snake puts up a strong fight, the eagle ultimately emerges as the victor, using its sharp talons to first injure the reptile so that it doesn't have the strength to fight back. And soon after that, the bird manages to kill the snake to defend itself once and for all. Alright, comment down below which of these snake battles shocked you the most. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Wildly for more. See you in the next one.